Alright everybody, welcome back to another video playing some more Pantheon up against a Kha'Zix. And like I said a couple of times, many times already, is Pantheon is super fun to play and really just a breath of fresh air, man. So right here I definitely didn't have to use flash. I think I forced it, could have got my stun off and didn't have to waste flash, but the enemy team locked in Kha'Zix, so I kind of felt, okay, you know what, Pantheon, Vi, all of these champions, there's some pretty good counter picks to Kha'Zix. I think Kha'Zix definitely struggles with individuals. Personally, you know, Yuumi is a huge counter to Kha'Zix. Wukong, I feel like I always struggle against, especially against Wukong. Morgana, I think, is another very, very strong character that you can pick into if you're going up against a Kha'Zix. Also, guys, if you have been enjoying my content, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out, and I really do appreciate it. But, of course, with Kha'Zix, you know, Pantheon, he has a second ability, right? His stun. So you're able to kind of zone him out of a team fight, and you can definitely focus him. And it makes it a lot easier. So as you can see here, Yone does a really good job, and we kind of just flash, stun, and we are able to pick him up. So nice and easy, right? Your stun, it's just a great ability of a character like Pantheon. You know, Vi is also a very good counter pick against Kha'Zix. You know, mainly because of her ultimate, you kind of can just, you know, zone him out of team fights. As right here, we managed to, we basically right here just retreat, and we managed to pick up the Rift Herald before we die. So pretty good play. We managed to get the Rift Herald, and right here we respawn. And I'm picking for the dragon, but the enemy Kha'Zix manages to pick him up. So again, just talking a little bit about the counters really is, you know, Wukong, Yuumi, of course, I think you kind of understand why, because with Yuumi, she's a support that pretty much just like hangs on to her character. So really the isolation would never exist, right, when you're playing against a Yuumi. But also Wukong I definitely struggle against a lot because of his clone and his ultimate, right? Pretty much you know, you jump in and all he has to do is just he can pop his clone, use his ultimate, and you're pretty much stunned. But right here, playing some Pantheon going up against a Kha'Zix, and only their tank team was Garen, so I felt pretty confident locking in Pantheon, and I've absolutely loved Pantheon, you know. Just his utility, his kit, everything about Pantheon is just a very simple champion to play. And I think I said it in the last couple of videos, you know, just a breath of fresh air. Just such a simple champion that sometimes, you know, you play him and it's just a very relaxing time to play him in the jungle. You know, you kind of get red buff, and look at this, just second ability, stun, and you pick up a nice easy kill, right? There's really nothing to Pantheon. Of course, the biggest thing you have to watch out for is if you don't get a tremendous early game, like a good early game start, then into mid and to late game, you're gonna struggle. But this game right here is a great example of a game that, even though Pantheon falls off a bit mid to late game, if the enemy team doesn't have like fully stacked, you know, tank engage comp, then you're not gonna have a problem, right? Because as you can see, their only really tanky champion is Garen, and he really doesn't have a lot of CC. He really doesn't have a lot of engage. So you really don't have to worry if the enemy team is similar to what I'm playing against in this game. So as you can see, we picked up the kill on Jin right here. We pop our ultimate, and we are hunting down Garen right now, and we managed to get him trying to retreat in the bush. One thing I would recommend with Pantheon is definitely just being a bit patient with the first ability. So you see right here, I kind of spam, I just auto cast it, and I absolutely miss Garen. So that could be a big problem sometimes. You just have to be a little bit patient at times, and maybe hold it, maybe try to anticipate the flashes or the movement players will be going to, because sometimes you can just auto cast it and it'll go in the completely wrong direction. As right here, the Infernal Drake spawns, and we managed to get the Infernal Drake nice and easy. Right here, just popping my ultimate. See, the turn's about to fall, so we managed to force Lux's flash, and sometimes that's already a good game. You know, sometimes I'm happy with that. Okay, we know that this character does not have flash anymore. Sometimes I really don't like to overextend, trying to push for more. And sometimes just getting flashes for me is sometimes enough already. As we managed to force the flash out of luck, so we back out. And of course for the build, very standard, Yumu's Black Cleaver into Cerilda's. I feel like the Cerilda's Grudge is a must-have item on Pantheon. So the Yumu's and the Cerilda's. Honestly, Yumu's Black Cleaver and Cerilda's are very, very important items on Pantheon, mainly because of the movement speed the Yumu's gives. And then you combine that with the movement speed of the third ability that Pantheon can get. Not only that, but it's just the stun. So the stun that you can get, the movement speed that you get from the Yumu's, it really is very useful for Pantheon's second ability, his stun. Because the range, basically the range, I would say, on Pantheon's stun is really big. Like, it's large, you know. I think a lot of people underestimate exactly how long it is. So right here, as you can see, ultimately we have the Yumu speed, and we can just pretty much catch anybody as we stun Garen right there, and we'll manage to pick up another kill. And again here we get the stun on Brand, and look at that, just so easy, you know. Pretty much if you get the stun on anybody and you can just focus on them, you manage to pick up the nice easy kill. And of course, Kha'Zix does have the Edge of Night, so we were a bit weary of that. We tried to use our first ability or something. As you can see, stun again, the first ability, easy kill on Kha'Zix. So right here, we're kind of pinging, you know, we should probably go for Baron. But I'm not sure if we actually force it or not right here. I don't think we do. By the looks of it, we might. But this game, I actually remember this game, man. I was actually a bit stressed because we were doing so well. And then later on in the game, you see, you know, we kind of struggle a bit in team fights, and I think that's just the weakness of Pantheon coming into play later on. I think you'll see where he does fall off a little bit. But right here, we do have the Guardian's Angel. We are able to pick it up, and right here, I just kind of a bit overconfident. You know, you have Baron, and we're trying to force a team fight. Thankfully, I do not die right here, and we managed to escape with literally about 10 HP. We pick up the Guardian's Angel, and the very next item we go for is the Cerilda's Grudge. So very, very standard item, just one of the top Pantheon builds right now, top Pantheon player builds. I think I really want to try go for like a full lethality build where I'm going, you know, Yumu's Black Cleaver into Edge of Night, maybe even Collector or something like that, you know, a very just like a Kha'Zix build, and try see how it is. I did try to go a full critical with Kha'Zix where you go the Collector. It's definitely a lot of fun, super fun. But comparing Conqueror with First Strike, I feel like ultimately this rune page that I use for this game is definitely much more solid. It's just much more viable than the First Strike, you know, sudden impact build. Because ultimately, I think with Pantheon, you're gonna do a lot of damage with your first ability. So I think going for the Overgrowth rune is very nice as well. So right here, the dragon spawns, and I'm like, you know what, we already have such a good lead, but we can't end the game because of the new system Riot added to the game where they have that shield. We pretty much couldn't end the game, and I knew that, so I just backed out. I go for the Mountain Drake, and I think going for the Mountain Drake was probably the best play I could have done, because as you can see, my team just end up dying. So we managed to get the Mountain Drake right here, and I'm pretty sure if the Kha'Zix was an experienced player, we probably could have died right there, because honestly, if I was the Kha'Zix, at this point of the game, I would have tried anything, right? I would have risked dying just to try get the kill on the enemy jungler. Mainly because like I didn't have mana, I was half health. If I get the kill on the enemy, I could have got the kill on Nami most likely, right? And it could have been a turn of events. As right here, we get another stun on Kha'Zix, use our first ability, our third ability. And we just kind of have to flash out. So even though we got a pretty big lead, the enemy team is still putting up a very good fight. You know, mainly because they got Brand, they got Garen, a pretty tanky champion. So right here we stun. Garen used our first ability on him, but we don't get the kill. And right here, we kind of take a bit too much damage as our team kind of forces a team fight. Really, this is a big mistake. Just when objectives are spawning, the best thing you could do is definitely not force team fights. So we kind of forced a little bit too much. I was already at little too health, so I had to back, and the enemy team end up getting the Elder Drake. So I'm like, man, really, is this gonna be another one of those games? If you are wondering, this is exactly after the massive loot streak that I encountered the previous day as well. So this game was, I think, the day after. So you already know what was going through my mind. I was like, man, really? Is this another relapse? Are we about to lose another easy game that we should have won? So right here, I'm just pinging. I'm like, just wait, you know, wait for me to catch, really. So at this point, I was like, you know what, we got to do something, right? Okay, teams are dying, so jump in, and we managed to try zone out Jhin, and we managed to pick up the kill on Jhin. And Yone has a great engage and manages to pick up the kill on Kha'Zix. So again, very worth for us. And like I said, I just had to try to do something. At this point, I just had to try to do something, as I'm trying to pick up the stasis, but I didn't have enough gold for it. So again, struggling into the, like I said, Pantheon definitely still struggles mid to late game, and I think this is, you know, you're kind of seeing it when a lot of all the other characters like Kha'Zix, Brand, you know, they're getting they're scaling very heavily into the late game. You're kind of falling off. But then right here, we're not going to talk about this flash, but we end up zoning out Brand right here, and we managed to get the kill. And I was like, okay, nice. And then Nam gets beautiful ultimate. We stun on Jhin, and then Seth gets a beautiful ultimate onto Jhin, and we managed to get the kill. So we managed to get two of the biggest damage deals, and I'm a bit too low right here, but Nami gives me a heal. We get a stun on Garen. Yone gets a beautiful ultimate. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna reset. We're gonna get Baron, and we can probably end the game. So I'm looking to reset, and right here, I just thank God. I was like, oh my God, thank you, they FF'd. Because I was actually so nervous. I was like, man, we actually could have lost that game. But yeah, so the enemy team FFs, and we managed to pick up a win. Nice little win right there. Especially after the lose streak we had. I was just happy, man. But of course, with Pantheon, you know, a great counter to Kha'Zix. So very good counter pick to Kha'Zix. You know, Vi, Wukong, all the 3 jungle picks, I would say you could definitely pick up if you're going up against a Kha'Zix. A nice Pantheon game. 27k damage. I hope you all enjoyed. Peace.